Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio is my co-host, is the Ghost Trapper Taylor.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us, new listeners and repeat offenders.
Especially offenders.
Thank you for joining us for another episode.
Oh yeah.
Well, this week we're going to be joined by a returning guest. She's a paranormal investigator and the host of Ghost Club Paranormal.
Yeah.
I'm talking, of course, about Jade Capasso.
Yeah.
Jade's going to be joining us to talk about some of her recent investigations, plus a number of other topics, such as past life regressions.
Yeah.
So make sure you stick around.
It is very interesting.
Got a lot to get through this show.
Yeah.
But we've got all that coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's been another week.
It has. You've been up to much?
It's been a bit of a strange one this week. Had a lot of stuff just going on, just life stuff. Not super exciting.
Yeah.
But been looking into probability theory.
See, probability, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to you about it the other night,
Yeah.
about, because we've been playing that daft game, and it was like, wow, probabilities, and it just got me dead interested, and so I started looking into it, and do you know what? It's not as exciting as it sounds. No. It's pretty much math.
Yeah.
So,
basically, yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, but I think the theory is more interesting than the actual math.
There is kind of something to it, though. You know what I mean? There is something. There's like a piece of string there.
Who knows? It unravels.
Yeah,
it's unraveling.
That's true.
Everything's unraveling.
It is indeed.
Which I think that is unraveling is the story behind Loki, which is doing all right. It's episode 2.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I'm enjoying it at the minute.
I love anything time travel though, but I mean, I love the fact that there's this sort of alternate Loki. Yeah. And then I started thinking, but then I answered my own question because I was thinking about it, if, there's they're not allowed to, they've only allowed this sacred timeline, then how is it that there is a female version of Loki because she's going to be,
I think there's loads of timelines within the timeline.
That's what I thought. Yeah, they must be, mustn't they? Because it's
and they pick out the wrong ones and leave all the.
Well, which one's the? It's
the
sacred timeline,
but
which one's the better? Which one's the definitive? Do you know, part
that's
and parcel?
A question.
It's mad because it's what would be the problem with other timelines branching off if you've got all these ones to contend with anyway?
That's true.
You've also got the idea that, how could there be, that suggests that Loki was always going to be,
in the position that he's in.
So, it's when it comes to destiny, it's like
that
he
might be
didn't
the
really have a choice.
That might be the golden one. Then it might be his universe that is is the king.
616, potentially, maybe. I don't know. I think the Marvel one goes on a different. I don't know. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. But it's been really good. I do recommend you check it out.
My brother thought it was a film.
It's kind of like a because it's it does look very cinematic, doesn't it?
Definitely,
but it's
definitely worth it.
It's kind of like if you like sci-fi, Doctor Who style time travel shenanigans.
Even any of the Marvels, you'll love it.
Oh yeah. You're already a fan with some of the characters, and tell you who is really good in it. Owen Wilson. He plays this character Mobius.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just such kind of he's got a great draw anyway, hasn't he, Owen Wilson? And,
I do agree.
And they set it up where he's I really like jet skis. Yeah. I want to see, if I don't see Owen Wilson on a jet ski, I won't be a happy man.
You're not going to be watching it.
It'll be that'll be episode 6. He'll just go zipping by some part of the plot.
Oh, he's got to be, hasn't he?
Where it's he gets his lifelong ambition.
Yeah. Well,
I like it. I want to see it. I love the setup.
Yeah,
let's see if it pays off.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's been me. I mean, what have you been up to this week?
Just watching Loki doing a bit of sunbathing,
Sunbathing,
might as well. It's going to be rain now, so what I mean.
Summer's around the corner. We should be getting. I mean, we get a bit of rain.
Yeah.
Every now and again. We live in the UK.
Well,
what do you want?
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, a bit of sun.
We don't get hurricanes or anything like that, but it does piss it down a lot.
Oh yeah.
So. It's been a bit of a slow week for us all.
Yes.
Hopefully we can entertain you and brighten yours.
Oh, yeah.
we've not found out yet, but we were nominated for the Quite a Thing media.
Yes, we were.
So at this point, we've not found out. I think the voting closed just 16 minutes ago.
Yeah,
by all accounts. But we'll let you know as soon as we find out.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much me for the week.
Yeah.
We can go with basically we've not got chain connections this week.
No.
Because we've got the return of What's Fucked Up Where You're From.
Yeah.
This week we've had a story sent in. Well, I say a story. She says it's an actual kind of UFO sort of cryptids, all types of things going on.
Oh, interesting.
So this is comes in from Liz in Missouri.
Okay.
In the US of A, who writes, there's large caves east of the Leonard Wood Army Base, and it's said to be used as an entrance for alien spacecraft to access the base underground.
Okay,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what was the one we were talking about a while ago? Do you know, like this sort of underground complex?
Yeah, when it an old military base.
Yeah,
or something.
you see, it does seem like if they do have this sort of like
well, if you've got the stuff
they're
in
working
position
with them, then you've got it's the military who are using like reverse technology, or they've got an alliance with aliens and they allow them to dock in their fucking base, basically, isn't it? Right. Wow. So like. Liz says she actually knows somebody who witnessed strange lights in the area whilst they were floating, basically floating on the big Piney River that flows through the base, very near to the caves. The area is basically between the base and that cave, and there's even been Bigfoot sightings up there as well. Ooh. So there's a lot of stuff that goes unreported.
Sounds an interesting place.
Some of the caves around there are really interesting because they've got cave drawings and cave art that goes back to 1000 AD.
Nice.
So apparently there was a story of these 3 men who were ended up being like left in this cave or lost in total darkness, and by the end of it, one of them was seeing people all around him and hearing voices.
So he might have walked into something, or even walked through a time gate onto another stage.
Maybe, time gates.
Yeah,
well,
it's possible.
I mean, Missouri doing a bit of digging, so thank you, Liz, for sending us that
thanks.
in.
Yeah, if you can bring any evidence, more evidence to us, like photos or videos.
She did actually send me some photos.
Did she?
Yeah,
right.
She did.
Oh, right.
So
wicked,
I
excellent.
will post those on Instagram.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on in Missouri, though. It's a bit of a crazy place.
Yeah,
have you ever heard of the Devil's Chair?
No.
It's simply the Haunted Chair. It's a common legend and specific to Missouri because it involves a chair in a graveyard, basically. It's a stone chair.
Okay.
And it's almost like it's a tombstone, right? But it's there. And the legend goes that if anybody sits in the chair at midnight or on Halloween during a full moon,
all right,
that's the legit.
Yeah.
I'm not making that up. Right. So you will either be punished or rewarded for their foolish bravery.
Would you sit on it?
Well, I would. Definitely.
I would, yeah. Just
apparently, what they say is that, there's another legend that says that if you do sit on it, a hand will come up and pull you down into the depths of hell. Yeah. Since the devil's chair is in a cemetery, it's kind of easy to kind of get spooky about it.
Yeah.
However, in truth, the chair were more likely placed there as a monument or even just a place for mourners to sit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a weird sight. Or maybe there was a path there and that was, like you say, like a little mourner's seat.
Yeah.
And then now it's just oddly placed. But because it's stone, it's a bit of a creepy chair.
Well, it's probably not. Yeah, it's not moved, but the surroundings around it has, and it's just changed the environment from. It's the only thing that hasn't really moved out of there.
There's also the Momo, right?
The Momo.
So in short, this is the Missouri Monster.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's an urban legend similar to Bigfoot, but the Momo's about 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
With a pumpkin-shaped head.
Okay.
Basically glowing orange. Glowing orange eyes. It's furry and has a black long hair covering its face, and it was reported to be noticeably bad odor so it stinks.
Yeah.
And it's been seen up and down the Missouri River. It's said to kill animals and frighten people.
Oh, it sounds like me when I come out of a pub on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a few cans too many.
I was going to start calling you Momo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, thank you, Liz, for getting involved and sending us your what's fucked up in your area, what's fucked up where you're from. And you can get involved too if you've got a story about what's strange in your hometown.
Yeah, please tell us.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
It can be anything from urban legend to alien abduction.
Yeah.
Or Bigfoot sightings, whatever you've got, send it in.
UFO sightings.
Best bit is, we'll do a bit of homework as well and see if we can find anything else going on.
Yes, which may be interesting. You might not know.
Before we move on to this week's guest, just like to say that this week's episode is brought to you in part by our Patreons. Thank you to our Patreons for the support. It really helps. And you can get involved too by heading over to Patreon and joining on one of 3 tiers. You can rather be an agent.
Oh, yeah.
A special agent.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Or beyond top secret. Gets you a number of perks, and it's all great. Helps us out a lot and keeps us being able to do what we do.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can help us out by going and get some merch.
Yeah.
Which is available on our website.
Plenty of it.
Which, again, swagger about in the best NASA tees and hoodies and whatnot.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe as well whenever you, if you haven't already.
You should. That should be
your first thing.
Do you know what? If you're ever on any of our pages, just make sure you've pressed that like, subscribe, or follow button.
Yeah.
Well,
helps us a lot.
Well, we're joined in the studio by returning guest Jade from Ghost Club Paranormal. Thank you for joining us, Jade.
Hello, thank you for having me again. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you back. Obviously, we had a great time last time you were on the show. I'm really down with the old paranormal stuff, and been getting really into your channel, which is growing really well. You must be so proud at how everything's going at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and actually yesterday was the first day that my channel got accepted for monetization. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Excellent. So she's having trouble talking as well as I am tonight. So I bet you are. So it's really difficult to get as well, because I was explaining this to Taylor as well, because it has a cut off, doesn't it, of 4,000 hours watched and then subscribers. But I was trying to explain this to Taylor. It's you could have the 4,000 hours, but you've not got the subscribers, and then they kick you out for another term. That's hard work.
It's so difficult. It's honestly the hardest game to ever play. You know what I mean? And it's not even for even when you do get monetized, it's not especially my channel, it's not huge, so it's not I'm really making much money at all. Maybe a couple of dollars an episode. You know what I mean? Just enough for half a coffee.
Oh.
But the thing is it's now that I have that title, it's I'm official, what I mean? And that feels really good. Because the fact that people have watched it for 4,000 hours in the last 12 months is crazy.
It is crazy. I feel like when you are starting out in a channel, or, a podcast or anything where you're trying to put it out there is always that real hard struggle at the beginning, unless you kind of take off running, overnight success, then it's so hard. So, like I say, you must be so proud. I've been checking out a lot of your videos over the last few months, and there's a couple that were just mind-blowing, in terms of the locations and the paranormal incidents that you were facing. I mean, is nothing put you off yet?
Nah, nothing's actually put me off. If anything, it makes me more excited. I feel like every single investigation I go into, I learn something. But, it's just, honestly, what's the date today? Well, it's almost nearing the end of June, and I've still got 5 investigations left for this month.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So now it's the start of the new year. A couple of days ago, Ghost Club just turned 1. So all this has happened in the past 12 months, but I'm just ready for the next 6 months to just completely just get my head down and work as hard as possible. And if nothing really comes from it, like after that, then that's totally fine, you know. But I just kind of want to really push myself and see like just how much I can do. So I've got so many really cool investigations coming up the next few months.
Excellent. Is there anything you can give us a sneak peek on, or go on? Sorry.
Well, I can tell you that I'm going to Nevada this month.
Really?
So that's more kind of like desert kind of locations and things like that. I've got a couple of really good collaborations coming up from like other paranormal investigators that are also YouTube content creators. And then another California one that I'm really looking forward to is the Bracken Manor. And the Bracken Manor is up in Lake Arrowhead. It's about an hour and a half away from me, which is actually kind of nice because usually the investigations I go to aren't so close to my house. That one's going to be fun because I'm bringing my dog. I've got a new puppy, so I'm bringing him along on the investigation.
I've seen this on Instagram. Yeah, so this is the new part of the crew.
It is. He's officially the second member of Ghost Club.
Hey, and what have you called? What have you called your pup?
Wilson.
Yeah,
it's like a real life Scooby-Doo over here. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Excellent. If you think about it, there's an extra sixth sense there as well.
Oh,
because the dog maybe detects something before you will.
That's actually a really good point, actually, because I'm always convinced that animals have this sort of extrasensory perception when it comes to the paranormal. You know, cats and dogs. Do you know what? Straight away just came into my head with Peter Bateman living together, mass hysteria. Anyway, but like, you know, cats and dogs do pick up on these things, and you can see it. And you know, I think that if you are in a place that has a presence or some sort of paranormal activity, and there's a pet there, the pet will know before you do. You know,
and also you got to think about like frequencies. So like a dog can hear something that we can't. You know what I mean? Just with a tone. And I feel like that's kind of like what, you know, when you capture like an electrical voice phenomenon, like on your digital recorder, you know what I mean? It's there, but you just can't hear it. So, I mean, just a theory, but what if that dogs can actually hear that? You know what I mean?
Totally.
What if dogs can hear spirits 24/7?
That would not surprise me, to be honest, because in fact we've talked about this and in previous episodes about how planes of existence and, you know, like how we perceive things and how frequencies are kind of picked up by humans isn't the same how other animals pick it up. And for all we know,
we've only got a short narrowband.
You made me laugh so much the other day. Actually, I was watching one of your videos and you were talking about owls. And about how owls are technically aliens. Yeah, now I ended up Googling this. Yeah, and I ended up down a rabbit hole. Okay. Yeah, of alien owls. Yeah, now if you don't know what I'm talking, just Google "are owls aliens?" and you'll find loads of stuff on it. But she made me laugh so much because she was like, "Well, they are technically aliens."
The devil as well, if you consider that.
But yeah, how do we know psychic aliens? That's what they are. So
knew they were here. I knew it.
I'll send you a video later. You'll shit yourself, honestly.
Freak my mind out, man. Freak my mind out.
Do you know? Can you tell us a bit about your spirit box, because you've created your own. I mean, is this something that you worked out yourself, or did you find plans and kind of build it from the plans? Or
so there are a couple of spirit portals. So I built the spirit portal. I didn't create the spirit portal. And basically what that is it's an add-on to the spirit box, and the spirit box is like a radio that picks up on different frequencies. I call my spirit portal like Bumblebee from Transformers, because that's essentially what it is. You know, it's just a radio picking up different words to make like a sentence and communicate with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now I've heard these, and to be honest, when I've ever watched these paranormal videos, that really kind of bugs me. It's the white noise. So I find that more sort of puts you on edge more than anything. So when I'm watching
100%.
these paranormal investigations, and then they switch on the spirit box, or they use a radio with a dial, and they're doing it manually, and you can just hear the, it kind of makes me feel like, well, straight away you've kind of taken away the, of any sort of anything that's around you, or sort of, you're putting yourself in a bit of danger there, because obviously it's like someone could walk through the room and you've got this, when it's, I don't know, I feel like it's distracting, it's obnoxious, it's really kind of off-putting and kind of puts you on edge. So you've been able to take that away, haven't you, in your spirit box?
So the thing is, what it is basically, it's a spirit portal, and it does take away that white noise, and then it's just used with guitar pedals. So you got like a noise gate, which takes away the white noise and just lets the loud words come through. And then the other pedal is a reverb pedal, and that's just kind of gives it that slight echo, just so your brain can process what that word is, especially if you're not recording it, so if you're not going back to like listen to it later. Now they do have spirit portals online, but they can go between like 500, I think is like the cheapest one I've seen, upwards to like $2,500. And somebody even told me that they saw one for $4,000. Like, so, and they're not, I don't know who's paying for one of those. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And I think that, the paranormal equipment is expensive enough. Like, I've put in so much money into paranormal equipment, and it's unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that it would be so much more affordable so more people could do it and we could get answers faster.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that's the bottom line.
I actually think that you should actually be making your own tools in that aspect, because you'll know better about the equipment to know better on what the results would be, instead of picking up a gadget and going, well, it tells me this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you want to really know, why is it telling you this, that, and the other? But if you start it and make it up,
well, this is why I mean,
you know more about it than
in terms
the regular person who buys one.
Examples of spirit portals, spirit boxes, or those types of that type of equipment. I find what you've been using so much clearer and more defined answers, rather than when you do have that white noise in the background, it's almost difficult to make out as well, or you'd be like, what was that? And then it almost comes into the interpretation of what you've just heard as well. So like if you're in a group of paranormal investigators or ghost hunters and they say, oh, did you hear that? And it's almost like that point of, once you've said it, you can't unhear it, and whether, that kind of sort of detracts from what's actually being said, or kind of covers up most of it. So when you do get the responses through this spirit portal, it's so defined and so clear.
That's so true. And what I love about it as well is like, if I'm doing a spirit portal session with a couple of other investigators, if it says something, like if it says like Jade, say for example, because my name came through a few times in one investigation, it's like it comes through Jade, and then everybody at the same time goes Jade, because everybody heard it and everybody repeats it. And it's like when everybody's saying the same word at the exact same time, it's like it gives it almost like more energy, like kind of thing like that. And it's just so much more like it's just more like verification, basically, that's what it was saying.
Well, you've just reminded me of something, actually, because I was watching, in fact, one of your most recent videos. I think it was the overnight in a haunted mansion video that you posted. Your intro, when you're actually addressing the camera, I'm not sure if you did something to the audio, but there seems to be a tone in the background of your voice that seemed to be mimicking what you were saying. And I don't know if that was just me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got the chills when you just said that, because it's so true. Yeah, that was at the McIntyre Villa in Kansas, and this huge haunted mansion. And the first video I take, I'm doing my opening. Like, I'm just saying, this is where we are. Like, this is what I'm doing here. And I was in the room by myself. And you're right. Like, I didn't notice that until I was editing. But as I like leave the room, the voice like goes away, and it sounds like there's like a man talking over me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is exactly
It's
how what I
really
heard. And
weird.
I listened to stuff with my headphones on, or when I was watching that particular video with headphones on, and I was thinking, this sounds like there's somebody mimicking you over the top. And it was like, I couldn't work out whether it was just something you put in for effect, or it was an echo, just a bit of reverb, or what. And it was, in fact, it's the first question on my list, because I was like, that was a bit freaky. So, you can't explain that.
No, like, I can't explain that at all. But like when I filmed that, when I went back to edit it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was my entire opening. I was explaining the history of the place, like, and everything in that one clip. And it's almost like you can't, like, I couldn't keep like 5 minutes of that in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just chopped up a couple of pieces, kept that in. That's why in that episode, like you'll see in the very beginning, when it's like the shots of going through the mansion and the very beginning with the music in the background, I give this like voiceover of the history. And I don't usually do that in my episodes, but that's the reason why I had to do the voiceover in the very beginning, like as we're going through the mansion and things like that. It was because I had all the footage that I had of me talking about it, like had this man speaking over me. And it kind of reminded me of, you ever see like The Conjuring 2? And it's the story with the poltergeist, and it was back in England.
Oh, it was the
Conjuring.
Was it supposed to be like the Enfield haunt? No, there was in fact there was, because I know The Conjuring, one of them was kind of they keep basing them off real haunting events, but not connected as such, but kind of trying to make them connected.
I should have done my research on this before I jump on, but it's basically, it was the one where the girl is she's got that like demonic attachment to her, and they have like real videos of,
I think it's the Enfield.
When she's talking, it's like a man is talking over her, and she has her mouth closed, and people can hear, and you can hear this old, like, I don't know, it's really creepy sounding. That's honestly what it reminded me of.
Up the road from me. From where I am now.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that makes it even creepier.
The Enfield hauntings does seem to be one of the UK's biggest cases. Now, we've talked about it a number of times, on like whether there was a fraud attached. Now, the girl involved, Janet, I think she did have some sort of, sort of attention problems, but I'm not sure if a lot of it was real and then some of it was exaggerated. Do you know? But to be honest, with me, I still think that's one of the most, the best unexplained cases of paranormal activity, because it wasn't so much what the family had witnessed; it was more what the neighbours had witnessed, what the reporters had witnessed, the police officer, as well as Morris Grossman, who was the paranormal investigator at the time. He was kind of really into the whole thing. So this is it. It's kind of like when you've got a kind of a sentimental attachment, or you've got a kind of you want it to be real. I'm not sure how much of it was and how much of it wasn't.
Biology as well, though. Because the girls were starting puberty, they were young girls as well at the time, so you had all that aspect.
Yeah, they do say that there's a heightened emotional state, and that people can kind of latch on to more spirits. Kids are generally good
on that kind of stuff. So she was coming out of that period. So if you think about it, in one way, it could have been that she'd been given like a boost before she became an adult of whatever effects that that we lose after being a kid. Of the senses of noticing stuff.
Oh yeah. On top of that, though, it's how does a young girl like that pull that off? You know what I mean?
Totally.
That's kind of you want it to be. You kind of go, this is fake, because how can it be real? It's just so over the top. You know what I mean? But at the same time, she stuck to that story her entire life.
Oh, I know, totally.
Like,
she to this day,
hate.
she'll still probably say. I mean, is she still around? I mean, I'm pretty sure she is.
She is. Yeah.
I reckon she's still. The story would never have changed in the whole time. So
Yeah.
I think there's, like I said, we were talking earlier before we started recording, and there are a lot of kind of, people who hype it up. There are a lot of YouTube channels, there are a lot of paranormal investigators who do kind of, put a bit of hype, bit of spin on it, try and make it a bit more spookier than it is. And I think this is what I love about your channel. It's so genuine. And, you go in, if you don't find anything, you say that, and you say, well, it's totally. We didn't get any results on the apparatus this week. Well, yeah, do you know what? But it's an investigation, isn't it? And that's the point. Yeah. It's like,
and you're actually going out and doing something instead of someone just sitting there reading something or finding something out and then just going, okay, yes, believe it or not.
Why do you think?
You're actually doing it.
Yeah, and it makes those moments just when stuff does happen. You know what I mean? I mean, it makes those moments just so much more like.
You must have had some hair-raising moments.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the best proof that you've seen so far in terms of like paranormal activity?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we talked about this on the last episodes that I've done with you guys, but I have seen a ghost.
Oh, of course,
eyes.
I remember you telling us the
but
your story.
As far as an investigation, I think the second best thing to actually seeing a full body apparition was when we were in Iowa. Were we in Iowa? No. We were in Kansas at the Garnet House, and it was like 5 minutes into the investigation. I don't know if you guys watched this one, but basically I was with Michael from Glow and Ghost Paranormal and Joey from Ghost and Joey, both YouTubers. And 5 minutes into the investigation, there's like an attic, like an opening that goes into the attic.
Yes,
and
I did watch this one as well, yeah.
And I'm like, did you guys go up there? And they're like, no, we didn't go up there. I was like, well, hand me the camera. Like, I'm going up there. So I'm going up there and I have my hand. I didn't go up too far because they did say not to like step into the attic because it's a very old house. So I'm standing on the ladder and I'm moving the camera around, and there's just like around the attic and there's just this one spooky chair just sitting there. But then all of a sudden we hear like this man's like breath just go, like it sounded like what you would think a ghost would sound like, and we were all so taken back by it, and I'm like trying to run down these like janky little ladders and it was so weird. We were just like, what just happened? That was in the room with us. And then about, I don't know, maybe like an hour later or something like that, we're investigating the library downstairs, and same thing, the REM pod is going off a little bit. I see an orb with my eye, then I capture one on camera, and then it's that breath again in the room. Well, it wasn't in the room, it was in the hallway this time, but we had the room and the hallway door open, so we heard it like clear as day, and we knew exactly where it was coming from, and it was that exact same like heavy breath. And so that was just like it was again that validation that it wasn't just like a pipe or something like that.
Or just
you know what I mean?
House noises, or totally.
Yeah, like the fact that we heard it a second time in a different room on a different floor, like that to us was just it, and it didn't like scare us. It shocked us, but nothing too scary. It was almost like that was just what we needed to keep the investigation going. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you know?
Give you that hint that something was there.
Do you know? I mean, I find that when those REM pods or your spirit balls or anything like that you've put in the room to kind of interact with a spirit or a ghost, that they generally do get kind of a lot of activity, don't they? I mean, it's like from what I've seen, it seems that like whenever these are introduced, where it's like you're asking, can you interact with the bear or the light or the REM pod or something that'll flash a torch or anything like that, then it seems to be, I mean, quite a lot of the time on command. So, like, in fact, there's a couple of videos where I was watching yours, and it was like, literally, can you switch that on for me? And they did. And then it's like, right, can you switch it off now? And it goes off. Now, that to me is, I'd be like, that's proof to me. Well, if I'm in that room, I
mean, all like, okay, so all like different pieces of devices and stuff like that, like, it's not 100%, you know what I mean? There can be like, I don't know, let's say for example, I put new batteries in every single time I do an investigation. But if I didn't, I can imagine if my battery was going low, maybe that could affect, like, you know what I mean? So we do keep all of that kind of stuff into consideration. But then just on top of that, what really gets me is, especially in that investigation, the Garnet House, where we heard those breaths, we had 3 REM pods set up in the doorways. We were in a room with like 3 doorways, and you know, one's going off, and I'm asking it, can you make another one go off in the other doorway? And then the other one goes off, and it's like, then they're both going off, and it's like, yeah, when they start doing exactly what you're asking them to, it's just like,
it seems hard to deny, really, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
That was the same house, right? Because I was going to say there was one of them where you were just asking it questions. Can you do this? And he'd do it. And then, can you do it over there? Yeah, and did it. And it was like, that's
now you could
argue.
You're
going back there, aren't you?
Yes, we're going back in October. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go back. And it has a basement in there as well that they didn't want to go down there. They were like, nah, that's fine. But if they still don't want to go down there this time, I'm just going to go down myself.
Well, just be careful.
I'm thinking about doing like a live down there, because I've talked to the property owners and made sure that they have like the right Wi-Fi and stuff like that, so I can do that and just do like a I don't know, maybe like an Instagram live or a YouTube live or something like that, and just try and connect with whatever's there. It's creepy as anything.
I was going to say, what's the creepiest location you've been to? Like in terms of kind of just feel and vibe to the place. I mean, not necessarily getting any results, but you know, some places you just walk into and you think, nah, I'm out. Yeah. This isn't for me.
I think Scary Day was like probably the weirdest one. That was just like, it's I mean, that one was the abandoned old like mental hospital leftover dairy farm. I know that's kind of like difficult to try.
Didn't you get the feeling like straight as you're walking up towards there that you started getting wary about it?
And and it was just me and Michael from Glowing Ghost Paranormal. It was just us two, and it was like you had to just squeeze through like a little cut in the fence, the wire fence, to get into this big graffitied like abandoned building. And it was just out in the open. It's got no roof on it or anything like that. And just the amount of things that were happening in that investigation, like we only investigated that for like an hour. Usually we investigate for 9 hours, and we investigated that for an hour. And I was like, this is the best episode because the editing was so fast. But also, I think like
Wilson would have been good there.
Yeah,
I would have thought Wilson would have been really good.
We did go back to Scary Dairy 3 nights ago.
Oh, right, okay.
I was going to take Wilson with me, but then I decided not to because there are some broken glass.
Yeah.
And that was like one thing. I was like,
you don't need an expensive vet bill.
No.
Yeah. So I've got to pick and choose like what investigations I want to take him on and stuff like that.
On your shoulders.
It's all on your 82-pound dog. Have you seen the size of him?
Now, talking about your collaborators, is there any that you've kind of felt like when you've had people on that they were kind of hyping things up and you thought, come on, you know, like, you're going to have to stop that now? Are you like, or you felt like any of them were kind of, you know, being a bit messy, over the top?
Over the top wise? No, I can't say I've had any like gets over the top or anything like that. If anything, you guys will see in my next episode, the one where we go back to Scary Dairy, I think I'm that person. I'm being serious. Like, I think I might be that person because sometimes something happens and it's genuine, like my reaction, but everybody's so cool, calm and collected. And I'm like, are you guys just like, what, like, why are you not freaking out about this? Like, say for example, when me, Michael and Joey done the Farrar schoolhouse and we're doing a Ouija board on the 3rd floor and there's a knock bang underneath the table, like that to me, like my heart just started going like crazy. And they're so cool, like you can tell that they were kind of looked at each other, they kind of freaked out. Joey is super calm about it, and I'm like, guys, like you felt that, right? You guys felt that, right? And they're like, yes, like we're here.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'd be freaking out. I'd be out of the off the chair and out of the door. Me, to be honest. Like, I mean, like, all best intentions. All best intentions. I'd love to go on a paranormal investigation, but I don't know if it started getting a bit freaky. I might be out.
What made you think of going back? It was so spooky in the day that you'd go back at night.
So I think it's just because it's such a popular episode and so many people, like, because we did say in the very end of our episodes, Michael was like, oh, we should come back here at night. And I'm like, you're actually crazy. I'm not coming back here at night.
That's
but,
what you do.
You know, he talked me into it, and I just done my top 10, like, best moments and things. And I was asking people, like, what episodes did you like best? And Scary Dairy was definitely up there. So I was like, we're just going to have to go back at night. But this episode is actually like the weirdest episode I think I've ever filmed. Not just in sense of like the paranormal. It was just a weird day. And like, I don't even know how I'm going to edit this episode, but it's going to be out Tuesday.
Excellent. Well, there's something to look forward to.
It,
You know, with these Ouija boards, Ojo boards, or, you know, what's your experience with them in terms of like, now, there's a lot of kind of talk about possession and, you know, like you shouldn't mess around with them because you could get, you know, you could bring something up that's a bit not very nice, or you can be possessed.
Bad juju on you.
Bad juju, yeah. So, I mean, I'm reading this book at the moment on possession, right? And it basically brings up positive possessions as well as negative. You know, and I find that really fascinating. And then somebody actually brought that up to me and said, well, it's only what mediums do in terms of, you know, like if they're doing a seance or a Ouija board or something along those lines where they can connect with a spirit. It's kind of is like a possession. Have you ever had anything like that where somebody in your group or yourself or has had anything like that where they felt that they've been inhabited by another entity?
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's a really good question that doesn't get talked about enough. I think that there's so much taboo that surrounds Ouija boards, the paranormal in general, just, you know what I mean? But it's just another tool of communication, you know what I mean? So how can a demon, you know, possess me through this, but can't possess me through a spirit box or a spirit portal? Or,
of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all just, you go in with a positive mind and set boundaries.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
The bottom line is you just set your boundaries.
I think as well, people need to get it into the heads that, you know, just like in real life and where you meet, say if you had 10 people, you know, 9 out of those 10 people would be lovely, you know, and really nice people. So what would change in death that would make them, you know, turn into a malevolent spirit and all of a sudden be, you know, after blood? I think the majority of these spirits, that if they are there, then they're just everyday people like us who've probably just got a message, or like that cliche unfinished business. Yeah, you know, when it is really kind of a weird one, isn't it? Because it always seems to be focused on the negative aspects of possession. Now,
when you've got a lot of positive with it,
Oh, yeah. I've just literally one chapter in this book that I'm reading is about positive possessions, and these 2 instances of one where there was a guy who has no medical background whatsoever, and he's able to go in a trance and be possessed by a surgeon. And not only that, he's able to perform medical procedures whilst in a trance. Yeah,
I wouldn't trust that.
Serious? No, neither would I. But you know,
but like, who is he doing that on?
Do you know what? It's like give him the Operation board game and just see if he can.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I believe there's a guy in South America's. I don't know if he still does it, but I believe for a lot of years he was actually massive. Where actually, if you had an illness or something, he'd come along and he'd sort of like get the illness out onto his hand, and you can see it right there. He's been filmed like several 100 times, but like it's one of them things of that it can be. I don't know. You'd have to go right more in depth into it and find out exactly
I think so. I mean, I'm not sure what. I mean, would you say that might be a paranormal or some sort of, some sort of kind of.
Seems like a kind of like hypnotherapy type thing, to be completely honest. You know what I mean? It sounds like it could possibly like unlock a part of the brain. You know, it's just like that.
I'm glad you brought this up, actually.
Yeah, it's like that one story about that guy who stole a plane and from his work. Like he worked at like an airport or something
that's
like
right.
that.
Yeah, he was a what's it, wasn't he? He was basically a baggage handler, and he stole a 747, and he was able to fly it because he played GTA.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Like,
that's what he said.
On video games before.
Played this on video games.
And he's literally communicating like with the people, like.
In a proper way, or the signs, everything being
but if he had a bit about him, he could have landed it and said, I was possessed by a pilot, I had no clue I was doing it. Might have got away with it.
Yeah,
so you know what, there's something to that there's definitely something to that. But I've been working a lot more with mediums recently.
Oh, cool.
And I'm trying to kind of take myself out of like that paranormal investigator kind of like mind frame type thing, because I want to be a little bit more than that.
Is that the goal? I mean, you want to try and get into being a legitimate medium and try and communicate in those respects, because that's kind of so amazing if you can do that, and
I mean, as far as it goes with me is, I've always been really sensitive to just paranormal anything my entire life, but for me, in like my adult years, mainly, it's like premonition dreams that I always get, that tend to come true a lot. But that's kind of as far as it goes with me. But I have been working with mediums just because I love their whole outlook on the spirit world, like, because it's not like a lot of paranormal investigators do go, oh my god, this is a demon place, demon house, like demon this, possession this, demons. Like evil, because they know that that's going to reel people in and that's going to get the views. And as I have went to a couple places that there is definitely an off energy, you know what I mean? And that is where I say, like, okay, like I'm going to trust my gut here, and I'm going to leave this situation. I'm going to take myself away from it. And I've had a few people in comments saying like, oh, you should have kept going. I say, why would I ever do that? I was uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
you should never put yourself into a situation
if you're feeling uncomfortable, you get out of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, mediums have this other way of thinking, and I love it. I love it so much.
And what do you think about people turning around and saying like Darren Brown and such, saying like mediums are just hocus pocus, just trying to get after your money, and that's it, they're just tricking you?
Yeah, I think the phony mediums, I wouldn't even call them mediums, but there are definitely people out there that are all full of tricks and things like that.
I've met a couple of them.
I'll tell you what, I had a medium reading.
Derek Acora. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry. I don't normally drop names for you.
A medium reading a couple of days ago, and that was like, I mean, I was like, she stayed at my house, and in the morning we just had a cup of tea, and she had her cards with her, and I was like, you know what, I've not had my tarot cards read in a while, like, get them out. And then next thing you know, she was connecting with my granddad, and she was telling me all these things, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm crying in the kitchen, like,
oh my days.
And I'm just like, I didn't expect this, but it was so much fun, like, it was so nice, and she was so spot on, like, so that kind of stuff, like, I truly believe it, I really do.
So you did something recently that I really believe in, and I really want to try myself, but past life regression. So
that was intense.
I saw. Yeah, I mean, how did that come about, and how did you kind of how was the experience for you? I mean, was it vivid? What you were kind of seeing, or how? Explain to me how these images and kind of this story came about. You know, in terms of.
Yeah, so basically, like, first off, I don't know about you guys, but I like the thought of being under hypnosis just freaks me out. Like, I don't like it. I like to be in control. You know what I mean? If somebody says bark like a dog, I don't want to have to bark like a dog. You know?
Yeah, I want to meow like a pussycat.
Exactly. Like, so I was just so like, I don't know, but I am really, really interested in it. And I know a few people who have had done past life regression sessions before, had these amazing visions. Like my dad even done it once and stuff like that. And he was like, it was amazing. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm going to do it because it sounds amazing. And I don't know, there was a whole backstory to that, how I thought it was Eddie Cochran, like rock and roll singer, like from like the 50s.
Excellent.
So I was like, right. So I was like, right, let's just see if I'm Eddie Cochran or not. Turns out I wasn't. So
now you see,
but my life, past life, was very sad and very unfulfilling. And I'm a very positive person, like, and just to have that whole experience, like, of just, like, I was crying the entire time. It's almost like feeling the
emotions of somebody else at that point in time as well, isn't it? I mean, like, you see, I find that it's so interesting that, these memories and feelings can be brought back. We did actually, we talked recently about reincarnation and these types of effects. Now, I personally believe that I might have been hung by the neck in a past life. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
okay.
I've never had that corroborated, but I'd really be interested in finding out, like how that, why that is, why I have this idea that I was, I was a wrong un. And I was hung by the neck. Maybe, potentially.
It might not have been a wrong un. You might have actually
been innocent.
Innocent, yeah.
Or it might have just been a suicide. Who knows?
Might have thought you were a witch.
Could be, actually. Yeah, it's the name, isn't it?
You could have stolen. You could have maybe stolen a potato at the market or something like that, and they were just like, off with them. We have no room in this town.
Yeah, that's it. Just hang him and we've got some meat for the week.
Cheers. Cheers for that. Just get him up by the scruff. Don't worry about it.
That's it.
No, it's something that it is definitely something that I'd like to experience for myself, just to kind of get that clarification. And I mean, it's like you say, you had this in your head that you felt like you were one thing, or you had this past life. Now, who knows? I mean, people have been told that they have multiple past lives. If reincarnation's correct, and if you can get you only get one.
If you can get one, I'm sure you get
another
more.
one. Yeah,
Well, the way she started the hypnosis off is because she asks you first, like, what time period are you drawn to? Like, what time period? Because she tells me I've had multiple past lives. So what era am I trying to connect to? And I said, well, 1950s. I know I'm drawn to 1950s so much. I mean, that's kind of the whole Ghost Club vibe as well. It's quite 1950s, Yeah. And I was like, and I always thought that I died in a car accident. I've just been so scared of car accidents and that. And it was just, Eddie Cochran looks like me. Anyway, I'm going to try and stay off of that topic before I go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're going to get a song before, Randy.
I know. It's like, it's already been confirmed. I wasn't Eddie Cochran, but I'm still going to stick to that. Anyway, but she does tell you, she just tells you to imagine like a long hallway with doors on each side. And you basically just walk down the hallway, and I was listening and I could hear like 1950s music. And like down one of these in this hallway, through one of the doors, and I basically just walked up to the door that had it, and I opened it, and there I was. You know what I mean? And then it's like, then the story begins, and she takes you right up to your deathbed, and it's so intense. And the year, I'm not good at math or anything like that, but the year that I died, and she asks you all this, like, how old are you here? How old are you there? The year that I died in this past life, when I woke up, was 2 months before I was born today.
Wow, really?
Well, not today, but you know what I mean? Like in this lifetime, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's quite a long period from how we used to believe that we'd leave the body and then go straight into the newborn.
Well, generally, maybe, but like on the flip side as well, you could argue that why are spirits in this realm? Why are, unfinished business? Why do spirits linger on in buildings or places?
And how come there's more? Because you'd have to, with humanity growing more and more, you're getting billions upon billions.
Oh, of course,
well, then there has to be spirits from
Actually,
where?
That's funny you should bring that up, Taylor, because, I find that the popularity in paranormal investigation, paranormal research, even paranormal activity has been getting more so in the last couple of years. Maybe it's because we're focusing on it a little bit more, but and we've got the technology to document a lot more. I mean, it's the same case in UFO studies in terms of like, you know, as we get you know, more evidence and more kind of locations and better equipment and better understanding, then it kind of pushes the field further forward, doesn't it, at the end of the day? I mean, would you say that would be the case? Do you think that this is something that's on the rise, or do you think that it's a case of, I mean, you could argue one point is that spirits crossing over. Do you know, like, and, you know...
Well, from, like, animal to human?
No, like crossing over to the other side.
Oh, right.
You know, like, not animal, mineral, or vegetable.
I mean, I'm a believer, and I think that when you die, your spirit doesn't stay as one whole spirit that jumps place to place and goes into another body when it decides.
Yeah.
I think that it breaks off into different pieces, and I think that, you know, so let's say, for example, when my spirit breaks off, I hope a little bit of it goes to like the place where I grew up in the summer, you know what I mean, like the little summer caravan park that we used to go to, like, and then another part will probably be with, like, I don't know, like my husband. I'm sure I'll have a husband at that point. You know what I mean? It's just like, and then maybe like another part. You know what I mean? Like, well, if that makes sense.
It's funny and that actually it does make sense because, I mean, that could account for soulmates, you know, in terms of like, you know, in past life and reincarnation and stuff like that. I mean, could a soulmate just be the two parts of the same soul being reunited, and that's why you've got such a strong affinity with people like that? You know, I mean,
that's very interesting. That's a very interesting theory.
I'm full of them. I do. But I mean that could be the case. I mean, like I was saying this about fractured souls and how you know, I mean, you could go down to Brian Cox as come out many times and poo-pooed the paranormal, says, no, it doesn't exist, it's all rubbish, yeah, right? Well, no, because if you think about it this way, this is one mank to another, Brian, right? You know, if I'm so-called stardust, as he puts it, and, you know, I'm carbon atoms, and I break down, and I'm distributed back into the world, then why not? Why can't, you know, if there is such thing as a soul, how can that not be potentially,
be a piece of your,
you know,
atoms?
Yeah.
Or your atoms is a part of the soul when they're together as you, but then when you've gone, it distributes back
it's
out
a reach, but, you know,
ether.
There you go.
I've just got a thing of, like, the numbers, like I was saying before, about how, as humans, we're like 6 billion, now we're 7 billion, we're going to soon be 8 billion. Where are these other souls coming from? Is a question.
I mean, do you think that there's a possibility, because we've discussed this on the show, so I'll ask Jade, because she's, you know, in the field, but parallel dimensions or other planes of existence that, you know, the many worlds theory says that we've got like other dimensions stacked up against us. Could these spirits be potentially other beings? Outside. Just like you say, the numbers, you know, are these kind of just other spirits that are actually living, but just imprints, they're imprinting onto our reality. Whereas there actually could be living people living in another realm that we're just getting indentations and sort of residue and sort of like bits and pieces from, but we're not getting the full picture, you know?
Yeah. Definitely not getting the full picture.
I think that that's a really good theory as well. Like, for example, like a couple of weeks ago, I had a dream, and dreams, that's just a whole other topic. But yeah, I had this dream where, I don't know if you guys have ever had this dream where it's like you find your soulmate, like what you were talking about. Like, it's like you find your soulmate and like you love them so much, and it like hurts, like, you know what I mean? And then you wake up and you're like, whoa, what was that? Like, who was that? You know what I mean? Like, in a relationship or not, like I get those dreams like quite often. And so I had a dream like that, but this one was different because halfway through my dream, I realized I'm dreaming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to tell him that we're in a dream and we're going to wake up soon. And if he doesn't, we need to write our numbers down. And if we don't exchange numbers, then we are never going to see each other ever again.
That's good thinking.
I was trying to, but for some reason I was trying to do it so slyly. There was other people around. I didn't want like the dream gods to hear that I was letting him in on. Exactly. So I'm like, hey, and I'm trying to tell him like we're in a dream, and he's looking at me like, what's a dream? So it was almost like he was from another dimension and they didn't dream. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if they never slept. I don't know if you know what I mean, but he was very much like, what is this dream? What is a dream? And I'm like, what? And I'm just trying, and it is insane.
Funny because it's almost like, if you've ever tried to, have you ever been questioned in your sleep while you've been dreaming? I don't know if you talk in your sleep. I've occasionally talk in my sleep, and I've been on occasion questioned, like, what you doing? Who you talking to? Like trying to get answers out of me about my dream. Yeah. Now, whenever I've been in that situation, I talk to people like they are the dumbest person in the world and they should know what the hell's going on. Yeah? Right. Like, I'm like...
That's weird, isn't it?
What are you talking about? You're here with me. Why are you even asking me that question? In my dream, this, I'd be like, well, why is that even a question? Because it's not even a thing that you'd even think and try and explain anything or try and break it down, because I always find when you're in a dream, you're just doing the thing you're doing. You never, I think that's really rare for a start to actually kind of realize you are dreaming whilst in a dream. So for them to be able to be conscious whilst asleep and then try and relay information onto somebody else, it's like that person might not be in, obviously, firstly, they could be a construct. Secondly, if they are a real person in a different plane, then how do you get that message across to them that they need to wake up and they need to kind of, be on board with your realization? It's such a difficult thing to do. I don't even know if that's possible, but it'd be crazy if they turned around and said, actually, do you know what? You're right. And then they gave you your phone number.
Oh, yeah, that would be freaky.
Yeah, if you rang them up the next day, like, all right, do you remember me?
That would be absolutely I spoke to you last night, didn't I? A couple of hours ago.
So just, I've got one question about one of your videos, right?
Yep.
Because this is something that me and Taylor have been doing recently as well, and I want to find your experiences on it. Randonautica.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we've been on a couple, haven't we now, Taylor?
We have. A few little trips.
Did you?
Did anything good?
Well, yeah and no, but I found yours really interesting because I found that we for a start, it does send you to residential properties, and I'm one of those where I'm not about trespass, So you were brave when you drove up to that house, because I would have wrote that straight off. There was one house, you said Halloween, you were looking for spooky, you were looking for Halloween, middle of June, drives up to a house and there's a pumpkin on the doorstep. Yeah. Now that's weird. Yeah,
that's weird.
Now, we've had a couple of kind of like weird ones, but we've just had more busts than successes.
So we're beginners, you know what I mean?
Do you think it's as kind of creepy and freaky as everybody's making out? Or is this all hype, do you think? Because
when I done it, it freaked me out because it was very on point. I'm not going to lie. I had one of those moments where I actually, just talking about dreams, I thought that I was dreaming. Like, there was a one point, like, I really thought I was dreaming. And I'm like, is this a dream? Like, because it really was just like,
it's too much of a coincidental. Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've had problems like in the past where I don't actually know if I'm in a dream or not. Like sometimes my dreams are so vivid, I think that that's like actually reality, you know what I mean? And I don't know if this is a little bit too TMI, but sometimes like in the middle of the night, not that I actually pee myself, but because I'm so paranoid if I am dreaming, or if it's reality because I'm in that sleepy state. But if I need to get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, I pinch myself. Like before I use the toilet.
To see if you wake up. Now it's funny actually.
I really do that. Yeah, but it is. I can only say from like my experience, it was weird as anything. I think if you're going to do it more with a friend. My friend came over a few weeks after I'd done that, and she was like, yeah, like that doesn't actually like happen. Like that's, I don't know. And I was like, no, like, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it once. And I was like, think of something. And her intention was American flag, which of course,
loads
I don't know
of
about
them.
that one. There's American flags everywhere. I said, you have to be more specific than just American flag. She said, the biggest American flag I've ever seen in my life. I was like, there you go. That's a bit random, but okay. We start driving, and exactly where it took us to, it was this like 4 multi-story parking lot, like an outside, you know, those big like concrete outside ones.
Yeah.
It took us to one of those. We just turned the corner, and there is an actual American flag that's hanging over the edge of the multi-story parking lot, like car park, and it's from the top to like 3/4 of the way down. It was the biggest American flag that we have ever seen in our entire lives.
It is
and
a lot of coincidence,
right at the
isn't it?
moment.
I mean, would you ever use it in a you know, like a paranormal sense to try and find? Because there's been stories that people have kind of been led to abandon on haunted buildings or had sort of paranormal experiences. I mean, have you used it in that sort of sense, or would you?
I've not really used it in that sense, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like I would, I don't know, it just doesn't, I feel like it wouldn't work like that. Like if I was to go out in the middle of a field and maybe try it, but like right where I am just now, it's so, you know, there's houses everywhere and everything like that, you know what I mean? So
yeah. It always wants to take you to a residential area or take you to, you know, to someone's house, front garden or back garden's worse. It's like, excuse me, I'm just popping over your fence.
Take you to the local morgue, wouldn't it?
Well, it's funny actually. We took us to what was yours? A chain. You said a chain.
Yeah, I wanted a gold chain.
A gold chain of some description. It ended up.
Chain, sorry.
Gold.
It ended up.
Silver.
It took us to what was it?
It's like a park.
A Masonic lodge. It took us to a Masonic lodge.
Right next to a park.
It was weird though, because like there was so many examples of what you could symbolism in terms of what you'd say a chain. Now even the Masonic lodge itself is a chain of masons. And you know, connections and basically funny handshakes and whatnot. You could argue that building itself, and I think it's such weird, but it's all quantum physics and stuff like that. I wondered if you'd kind of had any sort of paranormal sort of dealings with it.
Because there's something there, isn't there? There's definitely something in it. Like you've already experienced, and you both experienced stuff that is a bit freaky and out there. To what if I turn around and said, "Go to this place"? You know what I mean? It is freaky.
No, I think my next one is I'm going to try and find some haunted, something haunted. In fact, that was exactly what it was, is why I wanted to bring this up, because haunted objects. Yeah, I've seen a few people find dolls and what they consider to be haunted objects. Now, remember last time when you were on the show, you were saying that you were really interested in haunted objects and you wouldn't mind collecting a few. How's that going?
So yeah, like since we last talked, I've moved into a new house. I have a new office. I have like a locked case now. Let's see, there's like 8 shelves over there, where basically I've been keeping like my haunted artifacts and things like that. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing fell off the shelf yet then?
No, but I will say this is when I first moved in, I've been here now 6 weeks. The first week I was getting a lot of activity, and it was actually right when I came back from the Garnet House, you know, that place that we were just talking about, that was like the one where I heard like the breath and everything like that. But yeah, so I was thinking for a while, maybe something followed me back from that place or something like that.
That's what I would have thought.
I was getting a lot of activity in this new house, and I knew the prior owners and stuff like that as well. And I've stayed at this house before, so I was just kind of like, nothing creepy happened before then. And then I decided to do an investigation, and nothing really happened, surprisingly, because I mean, this was like actually things turning on and off by themselves, like the lights flickering, like doors like swinging open, like that kind of activity, And there's a rocking chair rock by itself that I witnessed. So I decided to do a paranormal investigation of my house. Nothing comes through, right? The only thing that happened was I put the REM pods in the glass case with all the haunted artifacts that I brought over. And I was asking questions, nothing was happening. And then I did say, did you follow me from one house to another? I should have been more specific because I was actually talking about my last apartment. But that's when it lit up, the only time that it lit up. So that to me is like, maybe it actually is one of the haunted objects. Maybe it wasn't attachment or anything like that, but maybe it's a haunted object that I brought over from the apartment to this house. And it's just kind of getting settled in or something like that.
Yes, everything's settled down now and like less movement and...
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like now everything's totally fine and nothing weird's happened or anything like that for a good while. But I think also I really should take my haunted doll out of the garage because when I first moved here, I'd done a garage sale and I was like, you know, haunted dolls really aren't my vibe. I really just got her for the video to see if she was haunted. And I was able to sell one haunted doll. And I told them it was haunted. And the other doll, she's just still sitting in the garage. And I'm like,
like, we'll have the haunted one, thanks. Yeah, but it's like, you know, when you say this one's haunted, this one's not, and they take the haunted one, and you'd be like, what sort of people are you? You know?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, so you see, I find that fascinating. I think, like, you know, I mean, I'm not sure if I'd want to keep a haunted object in my house. I keep seeing...
you know you haven't got one?
You don't know, do you? I mean, we often talked about how kind of residual energy, and I think this is the thing as well. If someone's had possession of an object for years and years, and all the experiences and emotional pain and love and all the rest of it goes through, especially if it's something that the person has on them a good percentage of life, like a wedding ring or a chain or like, you know, you know, something that's kind of like that's being carried with them for a you know, a good stretch of that time, then energies, I do believe that they probably could, you know,
rub off on them.
Yeah. I like that. Rub off on them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So
I agree 100%.
So I mean,
long-term items.
So just be careful with what you're putting in your bringing into your flat. Yeah.
Or
I'm calming down a little bit. I've calmed down a little bit. Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think we've. Is there anything else you want to discuss? I mean, I think the your channel's been amazing. I think that everybody should go and subscribe to Ghost Club Paranormal. Yeah,
I agree.
And especially, I totally agree. And like, you know, you seem to have some great stuff coming up in the next couple of months as well. When are you planning on returning to the UK? And when you do return to the UK, is there any locations that you would really like to check out and do an investigation?
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure when I'm coming back to the UK. Probably I'm shooting for the start of 2022. So still a little bit, just to kind of like see the mask mandates and stuff like that. I'm still kind of waiting. Hopefully that dies down a little bit. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to travel on a plane again without a mask for a very long time, but I've got my fingers crossed for that. Yeah, hopefully I can get back for then, because this is the longest time that I've never been back to the UK. I usually go back twice a year, so it's been kind of difficult. But when I do go back, definitely I want to go back to Bangor Hospital, and that's like, well, Hospital Village. It's like a tiny little village with different buildings in it, all these different hospital buildings, and they were basically just used, people would just drop their family members off and stuff like that there. And a lot of history surrounding that place, but I've heard that it's supposed to be getting demolished. And I think that it was supposed to have been demolished, but I think because of COVID, they probably postponed it for a little bit. But it was actually bought over by the NHS, and it was used as an area where people would just go walk their dogs and stuff like that. So for the longest time, it's been a park where you can just kind of but they had security on 24/7. They probably were just sick of, having the security and people breaking into the buildings, vandalizing. So, but I need to go back there. Like, excellent. I really need to go back. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of the Isle of Man? There's a school there, not a school, a orphanage there, which nuns used to bring in children, but they found, I think it was about 5 years now, that about 200 kids or something were buried in the backyard.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. It was a big scandal. Yeah,
it's funny you should actually say it, because I've been talking about bloody evil nuns recently, haven't I? Quite a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, but do you know? But no, there was another video I seen on YouTube, which was another orphanage. Funny enough, and there was
in Britain that.
Now there was a morgue in the orphanage, and it was basically undisturbed for the longest time there. So, but basically when they these kind of urban explorers and all the rest of it finally got in and they managed to open this door, it was untouched. It had it's basically got a big crucifix, a Jesus on the wall, like huge, like Jesus statue on the wall.
Gosh.
And then it even has the old Victorian slab. Do you know, like the porcelain slab with the runoffs for the fluids? So it's like, and it's just such an amazing room. And I did see some sort of investigation in this space, and some of the EVPs that they were getting were just ridiculous. I mean, like, you just brought it to my mind there with you saying it was an orphanage, but I think this is actually in Preston. I think it is around that area. So maybe it's something to look into.
Yeah, go ahead, and if you can find that video,
I'll send you the video,
send me that over, because that sounds really interesting. Also, I do need to say that when I usually go over to the UK, I usually spend a couple of days in England first, and then I head up to Scotland because my brother is in England. But yeah, I have been talking to this one paranormal group called Project Entity. And I mean, we talked from the very beginning since the start of Ghost Club. And they're really legitimate paranormal investigators. I love their work so much because, again, they're more like, they come from the more like skeptic side of things. Okay. So they're just, everything that they put out there is just super legit. But yeah, so we actually do, when I do go back, that's our plan, is to go to do a collaboration with them, and then they can take me to like one of their most haunted places. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Hopefully that happens.
Oh, Alistair Crowley's house as well. That's in Scotland, isn't it? Do you know, it's basically Alistair Crowley had a house on Loch Ness, and he paid double for it because it had the most perfect. He was basically trying to do incantations and summon demons, and he bought this house because it was north facing. It had everything he needed to do these incantations and chants and whatever. And apparently, there's some spooky shit that goes on in that house. So maybe that might be worth a look as well.
Good spot.
100%.
I will send you some links over. I'll send you some links. If you do, we're coming. All right.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Jade. It's always a pleasure. Where can people find you?
So on all social media, pretty much Instagram, YouTube. I have a TikTok now. I think that's new since last time. But every handle is Ghost Club Paranormal. So get yourselves over and subscribe to Ghost Club Paranormal and enjoy Jade's videos. Jade, thank you so much for coming on again. Thank you very much, Jade. Thanks for having me again, guys. No problem. Great. Well, thank you again for Jade for coming in and visiting us once again. It's always a pleasure to have her on the show. Definitely. And a really interesting conversation as well. I mean, what stuck out for me was the past life regression stuff. I mean, I'd like to get that done at some point. Do you reckon you will? I'd try it, yeah. But I mean, I don't think I'm very... they've tried to hypnotize... They've tried to hypnotize me. They tried and failed. They did hypnotize... Right, so whenever kind of the opportunity to be hypnotized... and much like Jade, she's saying, I don't want to be barking like a dog or fucking like meowing or be acting like a duck or out, but whenever the opportunity to be hypnotized has come up, it's always I've gone for it, but it's just never worked, or it's never, or they've turned around and said kind of, this will only work if you play along, and I've gone,
Oh,
I'm not playing along with that.
I ain't playing along. You can rather fucking hypnotise me. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
When I see it on the telly and you're like, and you're under.
Yeah.
And they literally fall asleep.
Yeah. I don't want to remember it until I wake up and they go, you just been barking like a dog.
Yeah, well, I'd rather than not do that. But like I say, if it's a past life regression thing, then I'd be happy to try it.
I don't think I would, to be honest.
Oh, why not?
No, I don't think I'm really that bothered, to be honest, about it.
Would you not be interested, just to see? Like, because, I mean, I know a lot of people, when they do these type of thing, they always go, oh, I was like Julius Caesar's right-hand man, or, Napoleon. When he's never...
because I'll probably just be a pauper in a fucking field.
Same. Don't worry about it. Like I said earlier, I've got this suspicion I hung myself by the neck.
Yeah, not everyone could be Napoleon.
Maybe I didn't hang myself, but maybe, I was hung. But then,
naughty boy.
Well, no, maybe, I don't know why.
Could have been a victim for something.
But it might be interesting to find out.
Ooh.
Well, we could have connections in the family, so,
that is true, yeah.
Anyway, so... As always, we have a look over the World Wide Web to find you the best news going. And tonight, this week's no different. And here we go. It's the news. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've been looking over the web. We found the news. We found some good news. Looked about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
what do you want more? Yeah.
Well, did you hear this? Right, this is music related, right? And I found it just a bit funny. We don't have to talk about it very much, but I just found the headline hilarious. And I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters. But I love it when bands, they go and change the name, or release an album under a pseudonym name, like to see if it'd be popular. Oh. Well, they've released a disco album, right? Yeah. Under the name The DGs. So,
oh my days.
They look very 70s disco, though, these days.
But it's all about the sound, innit? They might not come across better than what they have been doing lately.
So basically, the DGs is a nod to the frontman Dave Grohl's initials, and the band have released an LP including 4 Bee Gees covers. So if you're a fan of the Bee Gees,
I'd like
get
to
yourself
listen.
Down.
I'd have a listen to that. See if they're actually any good.
So basically, what's it? Hail Satan. We'll take the Foos take on the Gibb Brothers 70s disco classic Night Fever.
Oh, no. Well, it has to be. They had to do Night Fever, didn't they, really?
They're also doing You Should Be Dancing and More Than a Woman.
Nice.
So, I'm interested to check it out, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting.
So it's only going to be released on vinyl for the US. And it'll be in stores on the 17th of July.
What about us Brits?
I know. I'm sure it'll get bootlegged.
Yeah.
We'll get a bootleg of that.
Yeah.
Someone will stick it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah. Totally.
You will be dancing. Don't you worry.
He will be
dancing.
I
can't do a Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb, here's a bit of musical knowledge. The Bee Gees are from Manchester.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Kepler Street in Cholton, I believe.
See.
Not a million miles away.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Manchester for you, Manchester music.
Yeah.
The list.
The
list that we've said this before, but the list of musical artists come from this fair city.
Yeah.
Is second to none.
Yeah.
Anything you've seen? I found loads of mad news this week.
Well, actually, talking of news, there's a new news for Great Britain.
Yeah,
called GB News.
I've seen this because you sent me it, and so it's an alternate to what?
Basically, people have been getting peed
How do we know? How do we know it's not run by the same people?
Well,
or packaged differently.
Funny enough, it's generally the same people you would have seen on the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Sky.
It's almost like when they go, we're gonna like Bender in Futurama, and it's like, I'm gonna go and open my own Luna,
basically,
theme park with blackjack and hookers.
Because so many people have been wound up, not getting the questions of the day that we want.
If you're a journalist, and you want to report the news, but if you're being stifled and told, now you can't report that. Yeah, because it's against their agenda or against their sort of
this
thing.
Is it.
You're not, as a journalist, you're going to be a bit like
they're not
peeved.
They're not going down the narrative. It's open and people ring up.
Well, that's
live
what I was
and
saying
stuff
about
like
news channels, because I'm it's very like you've got channels that are very pro this, but anti that, and then the other channels are pro that and anti the other thing, and it's like, well, you're trying to push your agenda on me on either way, and it's like, I just want to know what's going on in the world.
People have been.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want your slanted view on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the facts. Yes. I don't want like, what he said, she said bullshit either. Do you know, it's like, deliver the news and deliver it properly. Yeah. And
with respect to both sides.
With respect to both sides, and don't like try and tarnish someone else's reputation because you think it'll be good news.
Yeah, or get your ratings up.
Exactly,
and that's what it's been all about. But
so you're saying that this news station's a lot better?
Yeah, this station is what the people have been asking for a long time, because like everyone's been talking about how the BBC have got their narrative, Sky, and like,
it's the same in the
narrative.
States, isn't it? I mean, it's like you look at Fox News and you can tell it's very heavily Republican.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, obviously that attracts those people who are that way inclined or that way leaning.
Yeah.
So if
there's no middle ground.
Well, no, because then you find that everybody agrees, because they're all sharing the same sort of viewpoint.
Yeah, well, this is for the people that aren't being listened to.
That breeds, segregation and our opinions right. You're not listening to what I'm listening to.
Mental health as well, all that kind of stuff. It's not great for society.
No,
but these are basically open. Give it a go. Give it a see. From what I've seen, it's been a week.
I'll give it a watch. And I'll have to. I've literally flicked onto it just to see what it was, and then but I think the story was a bit grim, so I went, I'll come back to that.
Yeah. But a lot. There's another thing. A lot of their stories, they have quite a lot of good stories. To be honest, it's not a lot about bad stuff that's going on, because everyone knows what's going on and they can get it off the normal news. But like well,
no, that's the thing though, because you got to wade through all the
nonsense before you actually get to where you want.
What the point is, So
yeah. Give it a try.
Just like us, really.
Yeah.
Anyway,
give it a go. And maybe tell us what you think. If you don't like it, or you think it's gone in the wrong direction, we'll chat about it.
Have you seen this? Oh, I honestly can't believe. I mean, it's China for you, but when they say don't work with children or animals. Yeah. This is the craziest story. If you've not seen it. It's a terrifying video that's gone viral that shows a pack of 30 wolves chasing an actor across the stage. Basically, he ended up launching himself into the audience.
Jeez.
Right? It's happened in a Chinese theatre show, right? Who uses live wolves? 30 of them.
And why aren't they locked up? How did they get unlocked?
I don't know. Well, seriously, I don't know. I'm not sure if they were due on stage at that point or what, but apparently this terrifying video shows the live stage show where which basically went wrong. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's not man.
Imagine that, getting chased by wolves. But apparently they ended up making their way into the aisles.
Right.
So
what, and attacking the people?
Yeah, so apparently several of the animals left the stage and started running up and down the aisles between the audience. It's not audience participation.
Well, it was that night.
What? Yeah, so it was the show was called Chorling Legend, the Legend of the Camel Bell, and the wolves were also basically due to appear and act out a fight scene with performers, but apparently, much to the dismay, the animals didn't agree.
On the night,
basically went rogue. So
that's that. Oh well, that's just like not being sensible, is it really?
Apparently they say, what if something unexpected happened? But there you go.
Now you know.
If it could happen, it will.
Yeah, one time or another.
That's the thing. I was talking about probabilities, but that's it. If you're putting yourself in that situation, it's like, generally speaking, you go, oh, well, what's the probability of being attacked by a pack of hungry, ravenous wolves?
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
go, well, I'm sat at home, so probably 0. Yeah, but it's like, well,
I'm walking across that field in 20 minutes.
He increased his probability there by a factor of quite a bit.
yeah, a lot.
It's like, there you go. It's like, I'm sure he won't want to be. I don't know if he was attacked by him, but he ended up launching himself into the audience anyway. So,
that's bad,
anything else caught your eye this week? I've got some belting stories here.
Botswana, the 3rd biggest diamond in the world was found.
I did see this.
Yeah, which is 1,098 carats, which works out to be the 3rd biggest diamond ever found. The second one was 1,109 carats, and that went for £40 million.
Was it found by the same company?
No, that was a different nation, actually.
Oh, right. So these guys are buzzing now then, aren't they? Because they've just Yeah,
because I think it's the country's actual diamond company.
It's weird, though, because it's like, I follow all these kind of Gold Rush Alaska shows and all the rest of it. And they went to mine diamonds or find diamonds. So basically, they were gold mining, but a byproduct of it was finding diamonds. And when they found them, they were worth nothing. Yeah. So it's like, it's all about the carat and the class and mainly the size, really, nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, I think like small diamonds, they're not really sought after, and
That's true, but there was one part of Africa where there was an earthquake sometime this week, and as the cracks opened up, it looked like there was diamonds in there.
Really?
And people were walking by going, "Hey, what's that? The diamonds, right? I'm taking that."
Do you reckon that's why this has come about then, this world's largest one? Or do you think
No, I think it's a different nation,
location?
yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it was more east.
So how much is this worth, this one?
We don't know yet, but like the closest to it was 40 million, which was
40
the second.
million, imagine.
So, imagine
tripping over
that was
in
4
the street.
years ago. You know what I mean? So that you could get probably 44, 48
That's
million.
the thing. I always say this, right? Because I mean, as far as we're concerned, right? Natural resources.
Yeah.
There's no sort of, for the average man in UK, right? There's no opportunity to go out and make your millions just by digging something up.
No.
Yeah. It's just not there.
No.
Like it's crazy because it's like other parts of the world where you're like, you know what? If you want to put the work in, you could dig up. You could try and find a nugget of gold or a diamond or fucking anything like that. But England's been around so long.
Yeah,
that it's just been.
You're just gonna.
It's just been milked. It's been milked for everything.
And if we found something anyway, the Queen would probably turn around and go, "It was on my land."
I reckon this is why I mean, like, this could be controversial, but I reckon this is why Scotland want out of the UK.
Oh yeah,
because
they are a bit
they'll
rich,
go. I reckon they found a big gold deposit or something somewhere, right?
And
they're hiding it from us. And as soon as they get out of the
they'll be like,
thingy,
"Got your suckers."
Check what we just found. And it's like, nah, you can't have any.
Well, funny enough, they did find another oil supply deposit.
Happy days, man.
Yeah,
Good
so
luck. I mean, this is
one.
it, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But I'd find that hilarious if that was the case. So, crack on.
Yeah, but you know what? That'd only last so long. You know what I mean? That only lasts so long. So how are you gonna use money? Because
I mean, Wales has got a gold mine. In fact, but it's got a gold belt. But again, it's all taken.
Yeah.
Owned.
Yeah, that's
so,
it. Privately, probably.
Anyway. Yeah. But what you could do is you could make cheese.
Well, yeah, there is. Yeah.
As a
strawberry flam or something.
I found this story, you see. Yeah. I apologise for the odd segue. But this is a study that says hip-hop makes cheese taste better.
Whoa.
So, when you're going for like wine cheese and wine thingies, stick a bit of Dr. Dre on or
Yeah.
Makes cheese taste nice. Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. Well, the study says that
On the cultivation of
basically,
it.
and the cultivation in the making of cheese.
Yeah.
Basically, the Swiss cheesemakers have put it to the test.
Yeah.
And they've said that playing hip hop works really well because they tried a load of different music, like, you know, different styles of music, and they said hip hop
Was a top notch.
gets the best cheese, right?
Mint.
Yeah. So they basically played the group from 1980, I think the 1980s, or was it A Tribe Called Quest?
Right, yeah.
Superb cheese.
Mint.
I'm thinking what you know Biggie's going to do. Is Biggie going to make some sick cheese?
Well, I can't now. Biggie's up in the...
I know, but you can still make good cheese, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, could it? Yeah, oh, well, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, because they haven't really gone for the 90s, which I thought was...
Oh, no, they've gone classic.
Yeah, they've gone proper
hip-hop.
classic, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm thinking... I know, but you don't want to subject it to angry hip-hop.
Well, yeah,
You might
don't
get
know.
a bit of cheese.
Well, you don't know. Well, yeah, that's true. That's
So,
true.
you know...
You don't want to eat salty
apparently,
now, do you?
It made the music would help it age the cheese, rather fetch it a more robust flavour.
Oh.
And they said that hip hop worked best. They did try a couple of other types of music, and this was over a 6 month period.
Right.
While the cheese wheels matured.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
So there was a selection, like I say. So they gave it one wheel was aged with a 24-hour exposure to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven.
Whoa.
Another one to Mozart's Magic Flute.
I knew.
And another one, basically some electro.
Oh, so the cheese was bouncing. Boing, 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 boing. Yeah,
So,
it had more rolls than usual.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
What people get up to, eh?
Yeah. What happened to the
goes
proper
through
science?
people's minds? It's like, do you know what, right? I'm going to tell... Because it's like, yeah, well... People saying plants grow really good if you play music to
definitely,
it.
yeah.
So why wouldn't cheese taste nicer?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it seems to be something. It's probably within the waves,
Who
the low
knows?
frequencies that actually, spring them a, bit to life.
Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I reckon there's going to be more testing on it.
Those good bacterias.
Well, that is very true.
So, anything else you found in the news? I've got a load of NASA news.
Yeah, I've a poor widow.
Oh,
named
you've already got me welling up.
Constantine, and that's basically his wife in 1975 wrote a will stating that he couldn't remarry. If he did, he would lose all inheritance.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to be happy. I want you to miss me forever.
Yeah.
I don't want you to move on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you stick with me only. But his wife died in 1996. And near enough straight after that, he'd moved in with what he says is his cousins.
Right.
So
I'm going to assume right now that she wasn't his cousin.
Yeah, well, that's what it turned out to be, yeah, because he'd been living there.
Or maybe she was.
Having an affair.
Where was this?
This was in Spain.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it was a judgment in Spain where it went to court this week, and the judgment was that he was there for like 30 years. It wasn't his cousin, like he'd specified that it was. Everyone around him thought there was something going on. The sister of the dead wife.
You're on about, it's my cousin.
Started
it's
it
my cousin.
off.
Ew, it's my cousin, man.
Well, yeah, but not by law. According to the courts, it wasn't so.
Yeah, we know, but they were not
technically.
They're not technically married.
Common law wife, mate. Common law wife. 30 years. You've been with someone 30 years, and
well. So what? So what are they trying to say? So what? Now, after 30 years, they're going to turn around and say, we're going to take your possessions?
Yeah.
And who's brought this forward? There must be somebody who's instigated this.
Of the dead wife.
Really?
Brought it forward because she probably
because she didn't get nothing in the will herself.
Well, probably, more than likely. But the new...
Shady.
The cousin, she died in 2016.
He doesn't have much luck, this guy, does he?
No. I'm lucky.
Well, hopefully, if he had any sense, he would have signed over everything to her, and then she would have left everything to him in his will with no stipulations.
Yeah, but then the court could have turned around and go, well, you owe us
Well, you've
this.
still got it. Yeah.
We got all this here, so we lost about 25% of it. We're quidsing still.
Shit.
Bang, yeah, you know what I mean?
See, they
But
always
then where
get
does
you.
it go? Does it go to the government, or does it go to the next family member?
Well, probably.
And will he go out and start shagging
I'm
the next
assu-
family member
I'm
to try and get it?
assuming that he'll be marrying the sister next.
Probably. Oh, yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah, she's got it now. Yeah, if you think about it. Yeah, she's probably the next one in line for everything. So,
Terrible.
yeah, this story may be a continuation.
Let's find out.
Let's find
we'll
out
let
in
you
about
know.
5 years' time.
If like you remember that guy
Yeah,
who married his
Constantine,
cousin
yeah.
by
yeah.
accident
That's just
when he
mad,
wasn't
mate.
allowed.
Yeah.
You know the chap.
Yeah.
Well,
Where his first cousin?
got plenty of NASA news. Starting off with a bizarre. This is a bit weird. It's basically a sign that's gone up
All right.
in Sedgley, which, if you don't know where that is, it's in Dudley in the West Midlands in the UK.
Dudley.
So this bizarre sign claims that Sedgley's seen 3 alien abductions in a week.
In a week?
Yeah, and blames the council for not helping.
Council?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
the bizarre sign seems... I can't even speak. The bizarre sign claims that 3 people have been abducted by aliens and in Sedgley over the past week. And it's basically a large panel with black stenciled writing. It basically accuses the council of not doing anything to stop abductions.
To stop the abduction.
I'm not sure what they do.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's...
Is it the council's responsibility to stop
well,
abductions?
that is another argument. No, what it is
Have we got a
government-
minister of abductions?
No, what it'd be is it'd be the government's issue, but then they would probably put it down to the council because the council's for your local area.
Now,
and
the
they're a part of
council
government.
actually did say, well, I assume it was, he says a
Me,
local
me.
authority says nanu.
That's the one.
They said they were aware of the mysterious sign,
All right.
and it had been removed. They've also said this is a council officer
Yeah.
who basically contacted the media and said that there is definitely something going on with UFO activity in the West Midlands. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one would ever go on record to confirm it. But as for aliens over Sedgley, he couldn't confirm. So,
Wow.
but 3 abductions in a week, and it sparked so much that someone's gone out the way to put a sign. Is the sign a prank?
Well, yeah. Well, could it be because of the UFO report
Well,
that's coming up?
UFO
Yeah.
believers reckon that the region is the centre of alien activity within the UK, the West Midlands.
Well, why ain't there
with
shitloads
dozens of
them there?
sightings being reported in the area in recent years. Basically, websites have been crashed.
Right.
Because, people
There's so
have
many-
been putting out so many.
So many information.
There's one woman, Lisa in Solihull, who claims she saw an orange flickering ball in the sky whilst in the front garden.
Well, yeah. Well,
So,
yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot of places
and
now.
Lisa, you can trust.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
wrong.
You can't go far wrong with Elisa.
Well, you
Or can you?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this is maybe Karens as well. Yeah, you see Karens. Anyone called Karen now is totally screwed with that
Why?
because everyone's kind of put the Karen down as the moaning sort of complaining woman who
Oh,
a Karen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
be
yeah.
if there's a woman kicking off in a fucking shop, she's
Yeah.
a Karen. Or complaining to the manager. Or just being an absolute knob,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
no matter what her name is, she's a Karen, which you kind of feel bad for Karens, really, because...
Yeah, because there's a lot of nice ones out
Well,
there.
like I say, you said you can't go far wrong with Elisa, but, I've met a couple of
yeah, I've got to
wrong-uns.
say so. Am I as well.
So,
I don't
back
think the name's in
back
it.
to UFOs.
Yeah.
There's been a UFO that's been found in a crater on an asteroid belt,
Oh, right. Okay.
apparently, basically, these claims of. This is
Don't look
measuring
at
5 kilometers long,
Whoa.
and it's basically supposedly have the ability to carry thousands of aliens.
Why, have they been in it? Isn't that the only way? That's the only way they know if they've been in it.
Oh,
you
should see the ensuite. It's beautiful.
It's one of the abductions.
So alien hunters believe that they found a giant UFO parked on in a crater on a dwarf planet. So its dimensions are, like I say,
big.
590 miles. This is the planet.
Yeah.
Which is about 950 kilometers. Which is a large object.
Oh yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
To be hanging around an asteroid belt.
That is very true.
So,
but they're finding more and more of them.
Could it be could the Sedgley free be up there? Free the Sedgley free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Possible.
Hashtag free the Sedgley free.
Take me back home.
They're on that asteroid.
Yeah, sitting there.
What do you reckon? Do you think these because there's always reports of these types of things, isn't there? Where and it is off the UFO sites. It's been reported a couple of times. So
any report basically is good because then we can find out if there is something there or if something's not there.
Maybe it's Jeff Bezos' secret interplanetary moon base.
Oh, it could be.
Could be
very well soon. Or it could be the world's first flying racing car.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually been tested yesterday, which was Friday the 18th.
So we've got flying cars now?
Yeah.
Welcome to the future, people.
Western Australia
Hoverboards
have
next.
done... Well, we've been waiting for them for God knows how long.
Been waiting for flying cars longer.
Well, yeah, true. Goes to 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. It's called a hoptocopter.
Hoptocopter?
Yeah, hoptocopter. There will be 3 races this year. We don't know where yet.
Now, I assume these are very, 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 very dangerous.
Yeah, that's why they're more like... we could sit in them, but they're using them as drones. No one's in them.
Well, that's
at
probably
the
what
moment.
they'll do with them when they...
I think eventually they'll put
once they
someone in.
become Ubers and stuff, they'll be drone piloted anyway. Do you know what I mean? And we'll just be
more
sat in
safety
the back.
features. Yeah,
like Wally's.
Basically, yeah.
Take me there. Take me to Tesco's. And you'd be like... off into the yonder.
Next thing you'd be wondering, walking down the road and all of a sudden one of these crash in front of you. And it's like, what's going on here?
Well, fucking hell, yeah. If one runs
Insurance
out of
petrol
high or the equivalent and then falls out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, you dumb bum.
Yeah, well, I like the idea. I love a flying car.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Or
more
even
of that, please.
Better, what about Lego?
I love Lego.
Lego have just released a 400,000 piece life-size Lamborghini.
What?
Yeah, which took them 8,668 hours to do, and if you wanted to buy the real Lamborghini, it would cost you just under $3 million.
How much does it cost in Lego, or is it just more?
It'd be cheaper in Lego, I'd imagine.
I don't know because of the man hours involved as well. But the Lego sets are ridiculously expensive anyway.
Yeah, and you notice more adults are doing it.
If you buy one of those little men, they're a fucking couple of quid.
Yeah, they're making
imagine how much a Lamborghini will cost.
You know what? It's worth putting stocks in there in a minute.
It would have been worth travelling back in time to putting stocks in Lego.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Totally. I think if you were, that and a couple of other bits.
Yeah.
But Lego's one of them, isn't it? Because it was like, Lego, it was known then, and it was pretty popular back in the day. But I think sticking a few quid on the Lego shares would have brought you in a fair few quid.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think
are you a Lego investor? Let us know. When did you invest and how much did you make?
Yeah,
I'm sure you're not going to tell us. But
if you want to,
send us some of them shares or some Lego.
Oh yeah, donate a bit.
Anyway, join Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't forget, subscribe.
But join Patreon too.
Yeah. Be an agent. Don't have to be a special agent. You can be an agent.
So Lego Lamborghini. Yeah. I think that's actually better than a real Lamborghini.
Yeah, but...
does it come in a box? Do you have to build it?
Does it come in a box? You're joking. There's no way I'm going to go, I'll take that. Make sure it's in a box.
Loads of pieces of fucking, when you get the Lego set out and it's like in little bags.
Yeah.
It's right, that's the headlight, and you spend 4 days building a headlight.
Yeah, more like 4 months.
So it's like kit car. I'd expect it to drive as well. Because you can. I've seen Lego cars that drive.
Yeah, I think this does. they were talking about having a V12 engine.
Wow. Made
But
Lego.
it won't be. Yeah, it must be Lego. I can't see him putting a real one in.
I love it.
Yeah, I think
can't
it's a
wait
good
to see
idea.
that.
Yeah.
So
Nice
anything
one.
else?
Well, scientists have brought in a new device into space launches
Right.
because they found out that low frequencies sound waves were actually disturbing people without them knowing.
How do you mean disturbing people?
Well, it's like you stand near a rocket and listen for it.
I
to
understand
go
that
off
because
and
obviously,
this-
like, you know, you've got that rumble and that. I'm
Yeah.
assuming damaging ears.
Yeah. But it's the low
When you say
frequencies.
disturbing people, it's like
Yeah, without really knowing about
I
it,
feel
'cause
disturbed.
it can interact with you because it's a low frequency.
Oh right, okay, like they make you poo your pants.
Yeah, that kind of
like
stuff.
the brown
yeah.
note.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right, okay.
They've built a special device.
An
now
anti-poo
to-
pants device.
Yeah, to try to stop it, and it seems to be working at the minute.
Like, you know,
Yeah, but I
it's
think-
not what you need on launch day.
No, definitely
You're
not.
there at
And you're
control
miles
centre,
away.
You're miles away, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden the rocket goes off, and so does your pants.
I'll be putting bets down. I bet you poo your pants in 5 minutes. No, I ain't gonna poo my. I bet
yeah.
your car. Yeah,
Go,
all
go
right
and
then.
stand over there a bit
Yeah,
closer.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming that there's a bit more to it than that, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it kind of reminds me of that thing that they put on shops, you know, to stop kids from hanging around.
Oh yeah,
Like the reverse of that, you know, like the mosquito.
yeah,
like,
yeah. I think
We've built a device that does something with sound waves, and it's like
I think that's
all sounds very sinister.
yeah, and dangerous. I think they're playing around with stuff that they don't really understand.
They'll be there on launch day, and loads of, instead of pants exploding, it'll be heads.
Yeah.
So,
no one will be there in the 3 miles.
So
You got out.
I've got a few NASA news.
Yeah.
So, like, NASA obviously are keeping an eye out because Jeff Bezos is, off to space. Now, what they're saying is NASA are saying that space isn't going to be a wild west for billionaires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rightly so.
So, you know, there's a lot of kind of people blasting off, you know, these billionaires with their own spaceships.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
Branson and Bezos and
Yeah.
all the rest, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And, you know, so Bezos is going up with his brother and an unknown mystery passenger who, like, as we said last week, spent 28 million to get a ticket
More money than sense.
on the Blue Origin rocket.
Yeah.
So, but NASA are saying, like, obviously they're keeping an eye on it because they need to still meet the same rigorous psychological and physical
Oh yeah, damn right.
tests and things that any other normal astronaut would have to go through.
See if they can cope with
Because
space.
obviously they got, you know, they've got other people in space. They've got people up
Yeah.
there. They've got to you've got to protect their people.
Yeah.
You know,
and technology,
you
and
can't
there's a
just
load
have
of
people
shit
getting
out
in a
there.
rocket and blasting off and putting
Yeah,
people's
yeah,
lives
yeah.
in danger.
Yeah.
So, you know, they are kind of taking it seriously, and, you know, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? Because it is only the super rich. It's like if you
Yeah,
can
we
afford
can't
it, you can
do
do
it,
it.
yeah.
And who's going to stop you? Yeah. And this is the thing. This is what I was saying about being lawless, because space isn't, you know, I mean, could we go up and murder Jeff Bezos, you know, in space and get away with it?
Well,
you know,
you
I don't
never
know.
know.
But, well, there is actually I wouldn't
Advise it.
advise that
No.
anyway. But, you know, but Jeff Bezos is under fire because there's a petition going round basically saying, let him stay up there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so,
but the thing is, if they threaten that now, will he want to go up now? Because he might think, well, if I leave now, they might shut the back door and go like, oh yeah, going back, son, bye bye.
I know, yeah. There was something I was watching the other day, and they made me laugh because he was saying, like, because he's only up there for about 17 minutes.
Yeah.
But like for those 17 minutes, Elon Musk will be the richest person on the planet.
Yeah.
And then he's back. You know,
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh, you can't land. Oh, well, your parachute ain't working.
So yeah, let us know what you think about billionaires in space. I mean, is it
need to be put under control straight away? I think, but so the nations are worse than billionaires.
This is the thing, you see, because it's like if you can kind of if you like in terms of crime, like if we argue, could you get away with the murder of someone in space? Well, what have billionaires got a lot of money? Yeah, right. What are they trying to avoid paying?
Taxes.
So where's the best place to hide?
Space. Yeah, it's the best place to hide.
At the end of the day, it's like, I'm
going to put it an idea on the moon.
It's actually in remember that Red Dwarf episode where he was like the Outland Revenue, and he was Outland Revenue.
Yeah.
And he's like, no matter where you are, they'll find you.
Yeah, that's a definite. Taxman always finds you, and they always want a bit more.
So,
always like
there'll be other thing. You'll be like, you might be in space, but your businesses are operated here on Earth, so you've got to pay the tax.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, damn right.
Well, again, I mean, this is the tax evasion in terms of like, going to a country where
but
the tax laws are different. You've got to pick up your whole operation and take it there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's tax avoidance, which is the pain in the ass, because that isn't illegal, but it's sneakily moving the money around that they don't have to pay taxes because they've looked at the grey areas, which needs the big.
This is what'll happen.
Issue.
They'll all be up there going. Drinking the tropical drinks.
If you were a billionaire,
I would pay me taxes like a normal person.
Yeah.
Oh God, the music stopped.
Yeah, I know. It was like, what's going on there? Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Oh, I think they're listening.
But I'll pay me taxes.
Yeah.
I'd probably feel a bit guilty that I had more than he did, so we'd probably end up giving him most of it away anyway.
Yeah,
do you know
exactly.
What I mean?
I wouldn't want to be a billionaire, to be honest, because that's just well overextended.
Why would you need it? I just don't get the mentality of the uber rich. Like, why do you need that much money?
You don't.
If
power, glory,
it's power and glory. I mean, and you can argue, well, we've got all my companies to keep running.
Yeah,
no,
I got more money than you.
That's like fine. You keep your companies running off the money they generate, but what's your personal bank account saying?
Right,
and in that case, give it away.
You know what? I was having a conversation with my brother about this the other day. He totally agrees that when is it that when you build up a company, why is it that you have to keep having more and more and more every year? Why can't you settle at like, right, we're getting a good pay we're getting $1 million a year.
Yeah, we don't need
pay
to.
all
We
my
don't
bills.
need to because it's greed.
Yeah, basically it's greed. It's greed
and prestige, isn't it? It's like we're the best.
Yeah,
and it's like.
I need to buy that yacht.
Do you know what? Football is the perfect example of that because as a business, it was like, well, this is popular. We can earn this much money.
Yeah.
And then the players want a reflection of that money in their paycheck. And
I've been having a disgusting argument with my brother about this, especially one player like getting $2 million a week.
So even if they kept the tickets cheap, everyone would still earn a good crust.
You wouldn't have to pay any tickets. The only reason you have to pay tickets is to stop, the grounds being overcrowded. That's why you have to pay the tickets.
But why make them so expensive?
Because if you're gonna,
because you can make money off them.
Yeah, that as well. But if you're telling me in your club you're gonna spend let everyone in for a tenner, you're gonna have more fans than me. But if I turn around and go, well, no, actually, 300 quid, you can come in. You know what I mean? I'm going to have less problem at my doorstep than you are because you're going to have everyone going to yours and only those who can afford it to mine.
Yeah, but that's because there's the problem with the whole system.
Yeah.
Whereas, and we're using football as an example.
It's
generally the same
general
sort
markets,
of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's me. I've got another story here. NASA basically. Did you hear about the Hubble Space Telescope?
Oh, no.
Well, it basically shut down.
Oh, yes.
It was forced into a safe mode by a computer error. Mm-hmm. A computer glitch put the Hubble Space Telescope into basically sleep mode for a while. The glitch kind of
stopped all operations.
And obviously it's pretty expensive. The $4.7 billion telescope basically just halted. And
just waiting there, just waiting there for a little push.
So the main computer stopped receiving the keep alive signal which basically is a handshake between the telescope and the computers.
Yeah.
And it just basically, like you say, stopped working. They've managed to get it all back up and running now.
Mint.
So that's good.
That's great.
It's
That's
like a bit
brilliant,
scary, isn't it, when you've got that bloody, it's pretty decent, delivers pretty decent intel and,
beautiful
stuff,
pictures as well.
Images. You would hate to lose that off your grid.
Yeah, but Europe's bringing in the new one. There's a new one coming in.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Soon. And so's NASA, and it's supposed to spot even better quality.
And if it's out of commission, out of commission, then bring it down. But and replace it. But it's good.
I think we still need to use it, to be honest.
Yeah,
until
if it's working.
Yeah, it's like the Voyagers that they're carrying on. They are going to break down soon.
Well, these are the new ones are going to be able to reach places that this one can't.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I mean, you keep this one in local, taking pictures of it's like having Zoom.
Yeah, we're going to need more and more cameras out there to see more and more details out there, so we can map the areas, so we can actually get from a decent place to
more eyes
place.
in the skies.
And that's why NASA is looking at bringing in a new dish called Dark Age.
That's where we're heading, back into the Dark Ages.
Yeah. They're looking at putting it on the dark side of the moon. So they can actually work out how planets and black holes combine, how they get together, because we've got so many, different environmental distractions. So we can't get proper sense. That's why
is the do you know on the dark side of the moon?
Yeah.
Right. Why don't they try and concentrate on trying to work out how to put some sort of communication tower on that side? So there's no interruption in communications when they go past, when they go around the back of the moon?
Yeah.
Because they always have a sort of a moment
where
they go, right, we're in total, darkness now. We don't know whether they're all right or not, or if it's, all going to plan. And then, they go, oh, we're back. Yeah. It's like, well, if you're going to put a fuck off dish up there to try and work out black holes, sort out your communications first.
They're going to have to put at least 2 orbiters around the planet to actually communicate around it to
get information back from this dish.
So I think they're going to end up putting it there, but they reckon that they're going to have it up by 2024, which I can't see, to be honest. That's a lot of equipment to go to put into a dish bowl. You know what I mean? Make a dish. But I'll tell you what though, there's going to be shitloads of information.
They're already working on it. It's probably already built.
Yeah, it probably is. They're just waiting to switch it on.
It's already
waiting for the report to come.
We did it ages ago.
Yeah. That old thing. Oh yeah. 1956 or something. We did that there.
So, anything else before we finish?
No, I'm done.
Well, that's it. I think you'll find that that's the end of the show.
I think you will find that.
Thank you for joining us again this week. If you've made it all the way to the end of the show, we salute you. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
I've really enjoyed it this week. Hopefully you have too.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got a comment, query or suggestion, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com or head over to the website where you can get in touch with us there. There's plenty of stuff to do on the website, including videos and downloadable episodes, merch.
We've got
blogs, all sorts. You can head over to Patreon and sign up and help us out if you fancy.
Yeah, or buy us a coffee.
Buy us a coffee over at Buy Us a Coffee. These, like I say, go on the website and it'll help you out, show you where to go.
It will.
On there. And that's it. I think we'll be back next week.
We will.
We've got another exciting episode for you.
Yes, we've been meaning to do this for a while, haven't we?
This one's a good one.
Yeah.
Make sure you stick around. And if you did tune out early, you don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And we're not going to tell you either. So you'll have to wait.
Oh, yes, indeed.
But it's a good one. Make sure you come back.
Yes.
We're available on all podcast platforms.
We are.
Make sure you subscribe. Like,
definitely.
and share with a friend, share with your gran, share with your milkman,
knock your next door neighbour. Yeah,
knock on. You like your podcast?
Yeah,
get on these boys.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you next time.
We will.
Peace
Out.